Kind of hot are we talking?
Just anything that she thinks needs to be addressed in the show.
Oh, oh, fuck. That's
All
disappointing.
right. So we're live, guys. We're live. Hey, everybody. This is Luke. This is Uncivil Liberty. We're joined, as always, with the beautiful Halston.
Thank you, thank you,
The
thank
very,
you.
the very debonair Wit. Say hi, Wit.
Howdy, howdy.
And of course, our favorite guy ever, Horace. All right. So, like I lead off with every show, thank you for checking us out, for one. If you haven't been to our Facebook page yet, I'm not really sure how you're watching this, but go ahead and like our page and share it, as well as our website. Go to uncivilliberty.com. Still not much. Do we put any new content out there? I think I'm slacking in that department yet again this week. Is that a fair statement?
We have some stuff coming, including some new media-based stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Sweet.
We got some shit out there on Twitter, on the Twitter sphere.
On Twitter.
Yeah,
The Twitters.
Not Twitter, but Twitter.
Twitter.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So we got the website addressed, and so today we're going to talk about all the detractors that are inside the overall Big L, Little L movement that keeps libertarians as a whole from being able to actually get into office, to actually run effectively, based on public perceptions, based on the political relativism that people think that libertarianism in general is. So, who wants to kick this one off?
Ooh, I guess. Houston, you want to go?
No, fuck no.
Okay.
I already going
All right.
first.
Here
Okay.
it is. Okay, so the Libertarian Party and the Libertarian movement, we got to make sure that everybody's aware that those are two different sets of things, okay? The overall independence movement has not been represented well by the party, okay? Part of the reason for that is the actual structure and the way that the party was founded back in the 70s. Now, various people, not detracting from them because they've done a bunch of good work, David Koch and a bunch of the others, got together and created the party as a vehicle for political change. But really what it ended up being, because of the various people that they had to draw from were all think tank people, it turned into a bickering match right out of the gate. Okay? So from the very beginning, you start off with a shattered and sharded party. Okay? It's small, and it's in a bunch of pieces. So the first problem there is the fact that you've already got intense rivalries of people splitting hairs with each other and personal problems straight from the gate. That's not a good foundation to start from.
No.
Right.
Okay. Now, it's been 40-something years. As far as what everybody believes in the party, the philosophy itself should have had a chance, or I would consider it a mature philosophy at this point. Everybody talks about how young the movement is and everything. It's not really that young. We're on our third generation. Everybody, there is a middle ground inside the movement, okay? So people should know it's pretty easy to get your hands on knowing the things that everybody can agree with inside the organization. I think the platform does a pretty good job of that. I think that not the creed, the pledge. What are you talking about there the other day, Horace?
Oh, the statement of principles, and in order to join the Libertarian Party, you have to certify in writing that you oppose the use of force for political or social means.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's a huge issue with a lot of what we're seeing as far as what's going on with people trying to, infiltrate, as or however you want to put it, is they're putting forth ideas that are antithetical to that pledge.
On both sides.
Absolutely. I'm not picking on one side or the other. In fact, I don't think I mentioned left or right.
But that is the first litmus test, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. I mean, that's really when it comes down to it, the only litmus test is, are you willing to use force against those who are not harming anyone? If they're not initiating force against someone, are you willing to start it? If you're not, hey, we're good to go. If you are, we have a problem.
Yep.
I mean,
Now,
it breaks down. Huh?
Well, because of that, it seems to me that they have always had sort of a neediness complex where they're willing to take whoever will just show up, and it has kind of become a drain trap of various political, philosophical garbage. Okay, all the little bits and pieces have collected down here in here.
Luke's gonna need a fucking neck brace.
There's a
Pray,
military.
hallelujah, hallelujah. Oh my God, I feel an offering coming on. Oh, come on, the people. Come on, my people.
And that don't help our image none.
No.
At all.
There is a term that seems to be most often used in the military that I think applies quite well here. Clusterfuck.
Clusterfuck.
Yeah.
Charlie Foxtrot all day long.
I'm gonna interject something real quick. We've got Ron Bishop watching.
Ron Bishop.
He just finished up a radio show, and he came in to watch us. I mean, that's
Right
pretty
in,
awesome.
Ron.
It was good, Ron. You did good, baby.
Yeah, so that's pretty awesome. And actually, I'm going to plug next week. We have it kind of locked in that we're actually going to have Ron Bishop on as one of our talking heads up here, and we're going to. I mean, the son's civil liberty, so we're going to grill him. We're going to grill him hard, So we have an entire week to kind of put together some really intense questions and kind of see what he comes back with. It'll be fun, It's not anything that's we're actually trying to hurt anything, but if you're going to be a player on the national scene, it's better to be prepared for friends.
You can't take the heat on the street.
That's right. That's right. So, but
Yeah,
I'm looking forward to it.
For those of you that have been hiding under any rock in Alabama, that's Ron Bishop is the libertarian candidate for the U.S. Senate seat.
Right in.
He's a write-in candidate.
Right in Ron. Hashtag right in Ron. You see that stuff popping up all over the place.
Yep.
I'm not sure
I have seen it
who's
popping
to
up
blame
in
for that the
national.
most, but it's good to see that coming from people that I don't even recognize their names.
Yeah, it's nice.
Anyway, so we're moving back for my interjection.
Oh no, it's just
Back to this drainage of.
Yes, the drain. Yeah.
Well, that's not even the right word, man. It's like cesspool.
Yeah.
Well, now the water's not flowing through it, and that water has had a chance to stagnate down at the bottom of the
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that people begin to not see themselves as a Republican, and I'm not really a Democrat either, so I must be libertarian. I must be, because that's the next logical option. I'm a libertarian. I'm gonna go join them, and they get in there and be like, well, this is the platform. This is what they believe. I don't really believe it, but you know what? I'm gonna be involved in this because I don't really believe the platform, but I need a political party to be a part of. And then that's what you get. You get, and then you start getting these little factions coming together, and they got. It's messy, it's dirty, and we're gonna go a little more into detail on each faction that we see, I guess, individually or as a group, and kind of how they're tainting the message of liberty as a whole.
Yeah.
The concept, the core concept of libertarianism, the core concept of liberty is self-ownership and individual liberty. That is like the foundation which the entire principle and the philosophy is built off of. But then when you're getting people who are coming in who are putting stuff out there that's not liberty focused at all, and then when you come at them and say, you call yourself a libertarian, but you support the death penalty, or you support whatever platform, whatever thing that's antithetical to individual liberty, they'd be like, well, who made you the king of libertarians to be able to tell me what I can and can't do and call myself? So we've seen the party become the party of political relativism, because it seems to be that catch-all at the bottom of the shower that catches all the hair and the goo that comes off. And that's what has to change.
Debate society-ness,
Yeah.
where everybody wants to have freedom to open their ideas and speak to one another about stuff, which is kind of at the base level good, but at some point you gotta fish or cut bait, man. You gotta fish or cut bait.
Well,
Yeah, we have a also people that chime in with, especially so we can. I don't mind talking about the Facebook group, right? The official Facebook group of the Alabama Libertarian Party. When you have someone who says something absolutely stupid and antithetical to the libertarian principles, and you go to argue them, and then you hear someone from a little higher up position come in and say, well, who are you to tell them what to think? Aren't we libertarians? Like, oh, wait a goddamn
what the
minute.
hell?
Wait a minute. That's not. I think you're missing the point.
In the
You're
interest
not
of
at
full
liberty to be a
disclosure,
fucking dickhead.
over that Facebook group, I did a 24-hour stint in Facebook jail
Yeah.
for dropping some truth bombs. I
That's
mean,
true.
that was it.
That's one of the reasons when I'm in there and I approach things, the way I specifically approach it is, what does the platform say? You're in opposition to the platform.
Yeah.
This is the problem. It's not my opinion. This is the official platform of this group, which is an official Libertarian Party group. So,
Theoretically, let's put a little asterisk by that and be like,
Okay.
Theoretically, it is.
Theoretically.
But it's not necessarily managed that way. It's a goddamn free for all sometimes in there. And that's one area that I've been very vocal in and saying, hey, where's leadership? We have these people in elected positions inside the party for a reason. Where the hell are you? Why aren't you having a presence here? Why is it falling on the shoulders of just one person to be able to to dictate kind of what's being consumed by the people in this quote unquote official group?
Yeah.
I think that may be reflective of an overall issue with we're kind of with the Trump era and social media finally kind of grabbing hold really good. I think that all of the political parties are having problems with the older people, and I'm not trying to dog anybody that's older or the people that have come before us, because y'all have done good work, and we would not be where we're at with the stuff without y'all having done what y'all have done the past 30 years. But
it's the hard but.
It's a hard but. But there's some apprehensions and misconceptions about how people actually communicate these days, and they're gonna have to get with the program to some degree with the younger generation, because a lot of the millennials, I'm older than the millennials, but a lot of the millennials and stuff are now right in their prime of activism and doing stuff age.
Yeah.
Okay, they're now getting to be the deciders.
Yeah.
And frankly, that from a value standpoint, the Libertarian Party should explode based off of what those people believe and how they have been dealt with.
But they're not. And in certain areas they're not. There's a high level of stagnation, and a lot of it is just the failure to embrace the new digital culture, and that I see.
Yep.
Paulson,
that is part of it, but on the flip side, a lot of it goes back to what we're talking about tonight, and what we keep talking about is there is no consistent, principled message. Right. It's all over the goddamn place.
Yeah.
And why would anybody want to bother with it when they don't even know what it's going to be representing tomorrow?
And then when they look into a group, all they see is bickering.
Yeah. Yep.
That's like the number one thing I hear from outsiders is y'all don't got your shit together. Y'all are always fighting each other.
And I did ask, I did kind of a poll on my own personal Facebook page, and I asked people who are not officially, libertarian, or who are philosophically or politically libertarian, what's your take on the Libertarian Party? And that's really a lot of what came back is. It's like, you guys don't have your shit together. I mean, you got one person over here, and you got another person over here running on the same platform who are diametrically opposed. And like, you got me. There's no way. There's no way that you can look at somebody like Adam Kokesh and then somebody like Chris Cantwell and be like, oh, these people represent the same party. I'm going to join them, because they're just crazily opposite people.
Yep.
Absolutely.
So I mean, and that's probably a good segue to kind of talk move in if nobody else has anything or wants to interject. But this is a good point to start pointing out some of these little factions that are building up, these little abscesses on the anus of the party.
That's right. Not just the anus, like
anus.
The whole body.
And
if the whole body was an anus, it'd be an abscess. Yeah. there's so many. But just to like recently, like over the last couple of weeks, you have this overall sense of like the knee-jerk reaction arguments that happen during every especially every presidential campaign. It always comes up every 4 years for sure. But the abortion topic,
Yep.
like that's one of the biggest things that we argue about in the party.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Well, who knows? Who knows? Well, if he supports abortion, I'm done. Fuck that. I'm out of here. Right? Although you're totally fine with the death penalty or whatever, like, but that's another one that we argue all the time. Like, how the fuck are we still arguing this shit when it's in everything that we have?
It's in the
literally
platform.
everywhere. Yeah. Google libertarianism and it pops up. I'm almost positive.
Yeah, just read the platform. You're like, oh, okay. Huh.
Yeah, I mean,
okay. So I have Ron. You're out here, buddy. Here it is. Here's the solidified talking points for abortion. When everybody asks you about abortion, the first words out of your mouth should say, "I think abortion is a tragedy. Anytime it happens, it makes me sad. But I don't want the government being able to tell anybody what they can do with their body."
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
Crushed.
But what about the baby's body?
The babies. What about the children? What about the children, Whit? What about the children? The children.
That's it.
You know, who was standing there first?
And we have Laura Lane. Laura Lane is watching us, and she's actually based out of like Mobile area, and she said beat the dead horse.
Yeah.
That's true. It's a dead horse topic.
It is a dead horse.
But still, you get those people who come in, you know, into just into libertarianism as a philosophy, or into the actual party itself, who think that they're going to come in and be like, oh, pro-life, and da-da-da-da-da. We had that issue with Sam McClure here in this state, who kind of came in under the radar and was able to, you know, divvy out a little bit of, you know, a couple of handy J's to people, and then all of a sudden bounced and went over to the GOP, where he's probably a little too aggressive for the GOP. Probably needs to shift a little bit further over to Constitution Party. But you know, people see that, and that just it's a negative connotation. People are like, ugh, these people are gonna let, you know, these people in, and then why do I want to be a part of them?
Yeah, tactical point. We're not fighting for Constitution Party votes. We want mainstream votes, or we're going to keep losing.
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
I mean, the Constitution Party is so far out that they're not even on the board.
Oh, but that's what I'm saying is we shouldn't be worried about trying to take out the other fringe people. We should be trying to cut into the meat of the mainliners.
Yeah, and that's one thing that, you know, I don't think that maybe people, you know, especially in leadership positions in various state parties or even at the national level, I don't think they truly realize that the majority of the people out there identify as independent. You know, you're looking at like over 60% of people are consider themselves independent. How do you reach them? How do you talk to them? Well, first off, if you want to reach those people, you got to shore up your message for one, first and foremost, because you know that's vital for any type of marketing strategy.
Yeah.
And then secondly, you have to make it an environment where they can come in and actually want to be a part of.
Yep.
And so, yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, please.
You know, something a lot of people may not think about is, like, let's look at 2016. Okay.
Do we have to?
Yes, we
that was a travesty, man. Straight travesty.
Yes, but it makes
Johnson
it
and
very...
Weld. I understand that this is the party of fucking pot smokers, but holy shit, Johnson and Weld, really? That's the best we could come up with. I'm out.
It could be worse. I mean, we did have Bob Barr at one point.
It could always be worse, but still,
So,
we don't want to settle for worse. Or it could be worse.
But no, the point I was trying to make was, if you look at 2016, out of the number of eligible voters, it was like 49.47% that did not even bother to go to the fucking polls.
Nope.
Yeah. Based off of gross population count of registered voters.
Yeah.
Okay, in this country.
Unregistered voters.
Yeah, well, I was saying, though, just not even counting the real full population of the country. Just the people that went to the effort to register to vote, okay? Less than 23%, 24% of the people that were registered to vote put Trump in office.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of where I start getting a little technical when it comes to the electoral college and how that works and how your vote does not mean shit when it comes to the actual presidential race.
Yeah.
Your vote actually matters in things like the Senate race because we do have Ron Bishop watching our show. He's the write-in candidate. He's a great guy. I've talked to him multiple times, so that's another shameless plug for Ron, right there. But yeah, you're right. That's if you want to look at it from a popular vote perspective. Yeah, exactly. A very small amount of people compared to the entire population in the United States were able to get that tragedy in.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if they were all registered voters, there wouldn't be such thing as battleground states and shit like that. I mean, there's no such thing as a swing state if everybody's registered. If they're registered Republican, you're going to win that state. And it's kind of like Alabama. I mean, or Georgia. Well, maybe not Georgia because Atlanta's growing, or has grown so much. But a South Carolina, Alabama, Mississippi, it's who's going to win that state because of the electoral college. It's going to be a red state. That's not going to change for a long time. But as far as the stuff that matters, where laws are made, or where Ron Bishop steps in and says no to everything that comes across the table.
Oh, another plug for Ron, yeah.
The Senate races, representative races, state races, local races, that's the stuff where your vote really matters. It comes down to I was one of the elections during 2016 literally came down to tiny fraction of votes, 10 or 15. That's when your vote matters.
Yeah.
I mean, your vote always matters. You should always go vote. It's your civic duty.
Let's not get too Schoolhouse Rock on us now.
Yeah.
You like that?
That?
That was good.
That was good.
All right, so let's take a step back. Let's talk about some of because we've been babbling on this for about 23 minutes now. So let's focus on these different sections, these different factions. I guess some of them are official caucuses, some aren't. Some are just
Nazis.
Just a gang.
Oh, there you go.
Let's start with
There's
Nazis. That's
Start
perfect.
Let's start with the all-right Nazis. That's a great one to start because I saw a post and actually it was Laura who's watching. Laura Lane said that the Libertarian Party of Florida has invited the Libertarian Party of Alabama to join in their convention. Who knew? You want to talk about a dumpster fire of a party? Florida is a straight up dumpster fire of a party right now, and I'm just like, oh, I'm good. I'm straight up good. And if you don't know, a lot of people don't really keep up with the Libertarian Party, period. But even other states, they have a hard time keeping Nazis off their ticket. I don't know. I mean, you would think the EC at that state would be like, we have a problem we need to address.
That's the thing is they've packed the committee. Is what they've done. They've actually taken over the party.
Yeah, but nobody early on addressed the fact that we've got a hell of a lot of white supremacists on board right now. This is a problem.
Yeah. Yes, it is, and it is one that does have a solution. If it comes down to it, National can revoke their status.
That's true. Yeah.
I think they're that far gone. They should be looking at the NCAA death penalty.
The what? SCA?
The NCAA, whenever the team gets too far out of whack, they can just turn them off for a couple of years.
Yeah.
If y'all don't get to have a team, well, that's...
I think it's an SCA like those medieval reenactors. that's the way to do it. That's a way to do it.
Little steep.
Yeah, jousting. I mean, come on. We need more jousting.
That'd be pretty awesome.
I would show up at the party if August Invictus would fight me in a joust. Now, I have to find an awful big horse, but I can ride.
Oh, my God. In Speedos, both of you.
Yeah. That'd be dope.
Yeah, that's one I'd have to bow out on.
Little dicks flopping at the end of the joust.
Yes.
Awesome.
Unless you have robotic horses.
But that's what we're seeing though, and I beat this dead horse all the time. But you look at even like the state of New York. New York State is supposed to be one of the most progressive states. Chris Cantwell ran in that 2009. That was back when he was kind of flirting with the ANCAP population and trying to be the who's-he what's-its, a name like Rachel's or Larkin Rose or whatever up there. But all of a sudden. Now he's a white supremacist. Well, chances are he was probably a white supremacist then. Was able to weasel his way in for a Senate run, and that's the problem is like you get one or two of these people, it's a huge black eye. It is a massive slap in the face that it takes a long time, not just for that state party to recover from, but for all state parties to recover from.
Yeah.
Somebody was saying it's like, well, the Libertarian Party of Florida has no bearing on us. Bullshit. It's a neighboring state for one. It's in the South for two. So
and they got way more press than we do. I mean, just
Oh,
straight
yeah,
up,
they
people
do.
hear
Yeah.
about them.
so it bleeds over. I mean, like we
Mhm.
touch them. We touch that state, and honestly, I don't want to touch that state anymore.
And the best thing we can do is go, look, they don't represent us. We completely divest ourselves from them.
So-
Yeah,
So
we can say
if,
that, but that's not how it
the
works.
political theory here. So Florida is America's dick, and Houston, New Orleans is America's butthole. Does that make Mobile America's taint?
I don't
Yes.
know. I don't know. Let's
It does. It does.
let's put that out to the people. This Mobile America's taint.
I won the fifth grade geography bee, and I'm gonna say yeah.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
expert opinion. So
Expert opinion.
I'm gonna have
Sold,
to step in
done.
and drop the gavel.
Sold and done.
But yeah,
Yeah.
so a closely related faction to those guys are the Dixitarians, and this kind of gets into something where
Is that like the Neo-Confederacy
that's
stuff?
the neo-Confederate
Yeah.
dudes. Okay, they're the guys who are flying the ANCAP flag, ANCAP Confederate flags. Okay, now,
I've seen
that-
those. Yes, yes.
now they actually have a thing that they are utterly held the fuck correct on. Okay, and
Can't wait
because
to hear it.
okay, and this is high weed, this is political shit, but it is what it is. You're gonna have to bear with me for a second. Their statement is that one of the reasons why the federal government is so out of control
Mm-hmm.
is that because when they didn't fully ratify the 17th Amendment and required all the states to have popular vote for their senators instead of allowing the states to send their senators,
Mm-hmm.
it created an imbalance of power and made the state governments accountable to the federal government without having any say at all whatsoever with what goes on inside the federal government.
That is a
And
fair
they
argument.
are dead damn right about that.
I didn't know where you were going with that because when you start talking about amendments and especially in the teens, I was getting kind of nervous. I'm like,
Yeah.
but
No,
yeah.
Whoopsie. If you want to fix America, you have to fix the structural problems in the
No,
Constitution.
and that's a fair point to make. Do I personally am I now a neo-Confederate? No, but it's
No, but
I can understand an idea and be like, okay, that's a fair point, but I don't necessarily.
No, I'm not a
I don't
neo-Confederate,
identify
but
with it.
that is one of their main points. They're dead damn right about that. Pretty much everything else, they can kind of go pound sand. Now, they're not nearly as grievous as the straight up skinheads and Nazis that are in various little tiny factions all over the place. But on that one thing, they're dead right, and the party should probably listen to them because that could, in fact, get legs. Because I think that one of the main problems that people have in America right now is that whole deal of nobody gives a crap about local elections. Everybody is always looking at the federal election because first off, that's where the power flows from. And secondly, they feel dejected, lost, hopeless at the local level because of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, but on the flip side of that, there's way too much focus on the low level BS positions. Especially ones that aren't even like politically aligned. Like the director of sanitation. Like yes, a libertarian may have won it, but honestly, nobody was really voting based on party at that point. They were just like, this person actually wants to be in charge of picking up trash. All right, let's. I mean, it's better than nobody, I guess.
I mean, Alabama has one guy who's a county commissioner who's a libertarian, and his county from what I gather, gives him all kinds of hell all the time.
Doesn't surprise me. There are exceptions though. One of the people, not part of the actual LNC itself, but one of the positions they assign, the LPLNC just got a new candidate recruitment specialist. And she's obviously libertarian. I've known her for several years on Facebook.
No, she's Green Party. She's a shoo-in.
Kara rocks. I love Kara.
I'm kidding. I don't know her personally, so I'm not gonna defame her like that.
Kara, pretty much rocking dead on with the principles, and she's also a city councilman or councilwoman, Burnsville, Minnesota. So
Yeah.
And she beat out a Democrat and a Republican for that position.
But was it a write-in?
No.
Oh, okay. Because
She
we
actually ran.
because we actually have a write-in candidate for Senate right now. And
Who is that? Ron Bishop?
I think it's Ron Bishop.
Ron,
I think
Ron Bishop. Yeah, capital R too.
write-in.
Capital R, capital B.
That's right.
You know.
Another shameless plug. I wonder if he's even still watching. It's like, oh, these guys are crazy. I'm out.
I got a ha 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 a few minutes ago, so maybe.
Yeah. But there's also like a 5-second lag on Facebook, so I'm kind of looking over and yeah. Anyway, but yeah, so that's as far as like the one of the biggest cancers in the party itself as a whole, is this alt-right white supremacy that they have no business. I mean, because their ideologies.
They'd be better served to go to the Constitution Party or start their own open National Socialist Party.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Just please carry.
I would love to see how that worked out. I would just love
the content.
The American National Socialist Party.
Yeah.
There actually is. I found their website and I was kind of.
Oh shit! I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was kind of like going through it and I'm like, well, it's kind of fucked up, but but they have that
Illinois Nazis.
They have the right to believe what they want to believe and associate with who they want to associate. I'm not saying that they need to all be slaughtered. I'm not that crazy.
But we don't need to be hanging out with them either.
They just don't need to be the face of the Libertarian Party like they have been, especially in some states that are kind of heavily populated states.
And the reason they're able to do that is they are more media savvy than the people that are currently running the party.
That's true.
So we got Rachel says that there's a candidate spreadsheet. So
Roll Tide! I've been asking for that for weeks.
there we go.
Where'd you see that at?
Oh, it's Christine.
Oh, okay.
I got somebody on the inside.
Oh, okay. All right. Cool. I was just I was sitting there. I'm reading through all the comments. Guys, everyone who's watching, I'm trying to do better with the comments. I think this is kind of a team effort at times, just to keep up with the comments.
I will be the first to admit, as a rule, I don't even bother. My laptop is just too old.
Yeah, he's
even try.
He's rocking a 10-year-old Apple over there, and so you can't really complain too much. All right, so have we beaten the alt-right to death? Do we need to go any deeper into it?
I mean,
I think we can change gears now.
All right.
Yeah,
can
let's
you
go
really
to
beat them to death? I mean,
let's go to the other end of the spectrum.
Beat them all day.
It's a violation of NAP, but yeah. All right,
Well,
so
that's the thing with me with the NAP. I'm not for the death penalty, but there's a couple of things that go on that bother me so damn bad that I think that death is an appropriate answer to it. So, so child molesters. We shouldn't have the death penalty, but maybe we should remand them back into the custody of the family of the child that they molested.
So, stuff like that.
And then quit asking, where did that guy go? I don't know.
Yeah, so here's a little ADD side moment here, but this whole send him to jail, kill him, it's getting old. Be creative. We pay judges how much? Be creative. Do something interesting where I'm like, okay. All right.
Here's what we're going to do. We're going to release this guy into the middle of the Mojave Desert, and we ain't going to have no cops around. He's got to walk 200 miles.
He's got a bottle of water, and he's got half an MRE. So
and here's the GPS coordinates for where we're dropping him.
Yeah.
Well, Whit will probably recognize what I'm about to say. I don't know about Halston or Luke, but there's a book called Time Enough for Love.
That's Bob Heinlein, kids.
And in it, one of the planets that they visit while in the book, their justice system is based on balancing. You get into a wreck that causes somebody to lose their leg, and it takes the paramedics 20 minutes to get there. They will strap you down, run over your leg, wait 20 minutes before they will let an EMT touch you.
Well,
that's fairly extreme, but I think that trying to remediate back towards whatever damage is done is probably the right answer.
That might be just a little too creative.
That's a little too creative for me. I mean, well, that's too creative for me as someone who didn't get my leg lost, right? I didn't get into a wreck and have my leg. So, like, what would I do if it was my kid that got abused, right? Yeah. From the looking glass, I might not be okay with you remanding custody back to the parents. But if it was my kid, probably good. I would much rather handle that myself.
Game
so,
on.
And honestly,
so it's a little weird.
for me, we talk about the nap a lot, and this is one thing that I do not think gets discussed often enough, is that when you violate the nap, you abrogate your rights under the nap.
All right, and for the record, just for me, the nap is not without flaws. I've seen libertarians fucking go on for days of debating the nap. It's not without flaws. It's a good set of rules and principles and ideas to kind of live by.
It's a guideline.
It is hard. It is hard to enforce. It is hard to keep, but it's not be all end all, because there are flaws to it. It's not absolute.
Well, it's also subjective.
It is true, very subjective, and that's some of the points you get when you start talking about the nap. But let's
It's
say
less
nap.
subjective when you're not moving the goalposts on language.
Well, yes, but I mean,
That's true.
take abortion. There are those who think it is a violation, those who don't. That's a subjective decision.
It is.
Mhm.
So,
But there are people out there who, particularly on the left-wing SJW side, who go, "Well, that hurt my feelings.
Don't
I'm
give a
hurt."
fuck. Don't give a. I'm sorry if you don't know me. I don't give a fuck about your feelings. I really don't.
I don't.
Unless
give a
we're banging,
fuck about
I don't
your
give a
feelings,
shit about your
period.
feelings.
If you ain't paying my bills or keeping my bed warm, I don't care.
Preach.
Plus, you may feel hurt. Where was the initiation of force?
Right.
I care
There
about
wasn't
Halsey's
any.
feelings,
Go
though.
fuck yourself.
Thanks, Luke. Jeez.
But I think that's a pretty good ramp into the next group of people.
All right, yeah. So let's
Yeah.
okay. We beat this one down. Let's go to the next one. We're talking about the libertarian socialists, Antifas, and the Antifa
Commies.
sympathizers. Yeah. The quote unquote commies, the ones who come in and think that libertarian socialism is actually a real thing, when technically, if you break it down, it's a paradox.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Discuss.
Now, left-wing style libertarians have been in the mix since the very beginning. Like before the party was founded, there are some strings of anarchist left-wingerism that was there from the very jump. They're correct on that. They have been in the mix since the beginning. They've always been kind of, because it's a paradox. They're like,
Wrong.
yeah, wrong. Wrong's the right word.
Yeah.
Don't say that. You might hurt somebody's feelings.
I don't give a fuck, Luke. I don't care.
Get over it.
I don't care.
Fuck your feelings. Fuck 'em.
Fuck those feelings. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As I drink my sugar-free
Now,
ice drink.
that is not to be confused with the bleeding heart libertarians who really do believe that that libertarianism, freedom of association, freedom of economic choice and whatnot are the cures to the things that SJWs are looking at. Income inequality and all that crap. And I honestly do believe that myself. I'm just not framing it in that way. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm from the pie gets bigger, everybody eats at school.
Well, I mean,
Right.
bleeding heart libertarians. I'm glad you brought that up. That's one site that I used to frequent a lot, but I noticed there was a huge shift somewhere, I guess, in the content, in the philosophy of the way they were running things. It kind of it shifted. It took a hard left turn, and I noticed there was a lot more Antifa support. Which, if anyone knows me, Antifa sucks. White supremacists suck. And the fact that no libertarian organization actually stood up and said, hey, look, you both have the right to say what you want to say. You both have the right to assemble with who you want to assemble with. But the violence shit, that's where the line has to be drawn.
Oh yeah.
Instead, we have the LNC chair who pretty much half-assed takes the side of Antifa, which really kind of rubbed me the wrong way. And then all the other state parties, fucking quiet. That was a great time and a great opportunity for leadership inside, whether it's the big libertarian organization or the small ones, to stand up and say, hey, look, this is what we believe. To come out there and be the voice of reason and say both sides suck, but they have the right to suck, for lack of a better term.
Yeah,
And
that's right.
don't confuse my malicious anger at the Antifas to be an approval of the police state, because that is some bullshit too.
Nope.
That's where it all gets construed. Like everybody, like it, as soon as like that Charlottesville, right? As soon as you start talking about in either side, it doesn't matter which side you're bashing at the time, you're automatically assumed to sympathize with the other side, which is stupid.
That's a logical fallacy, and straight out,
Yeah.
because it's not black or white. It never is. It never has been. It never will be black and white.
If then else, it's bullying.
I'm sorry
bullshit.
if that was racist. I apologize. If I offended somebody, I apologize.
Yeah.
No, but that is, you can say, hey, I don't like option A, I don't like option B, and you'd be like, oh, well, you support option B, or no, they both. I don't give a shit about either one of you. Okay,
In the back of my head, do I hope option A and option B just beat each other to death? Absolutely.
Yes. Sell tickets.
I think it'd be
Sell
a better
tickets. Sell tickets.
Yep.
But you can't just say, "Oh, I want to go punch them because they think this way." I mean, you could say that, just don't go do it.
Yeah, that's
That's right. People are just going out to look for a Nazi to punch, or now people are, because this November 4th, Antifa is supposed to be storming houses and taking guns or something. Yeah,
I'm waiting. Come on,
bring it on.
Yeah, good luck with that.
I took the day off, bitches. Let's go. But
I got something for you, buddy.
this idea that they're just gonna go commit violence or whatever, like, get the fuck out of here, man.
I'm honestly, like, if you want to make the movie Purge a reality, come on, let's make the Purge a reality.
Okay, so the thing with the Purge is that the only reason they get violence every year is because they don't just. If you go to a full-on ANCAP or full-on anarchist situation, it's like a forest fire. All the initial problems will have burned off, and it won't grow back up. The reason it goes crazy every year is because they stop and they let that shit grow back up.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and that's one area too, that
Rachel says she's been mispronouncing Antifa or Antifa. Which one have you been?
I don't know. I always call it Antifa because that's how it sounds.
Antifa. How about that? Let's just go.
It's anti-fascist. Antifa.
Yeah.
Antifa.
Which in case people don't know, and even people in the Antifa or Antifa movement, that was the communist paramilitary arm.
Yep.
That fought against Hitler's Nazis, okay?
Yep.
The Reichstag fire was blamed on them. It was actually set by the Nazis, which helped kind of catapult the Nazis into political office. They are a communist organization. They always have been. They always will be. You can say, well, not really. No, they're communists. If you're a libertarian and you're saying I support Antifa, you're not supporting anti-fascism. You're actually supporting the movement behind it, which is communism.
Yes.
And of course the broke clock is right twice a day move is on that too. You have the Antifa that were up there at the the Standing Rock Reservation trying to block the pipeline. Well, hey, Indians want to do that, that's fine, whatever. But when you're out there burning down people's houses and stuff, or burning down people's businesses and stuff in the riots in Baltimore, no.
Yeah. So that's another one that's like anti-fascism. That's a pretty cool statement. Why would you go fuck it up?
It's so trendy. It's so wicked hipster. It's like the pumpkin spice latte of the political movement.
It is.
Great.
And then it's like saying you're gonna call something pumpkin spice latte and then give it a shitty flavor.
Thank you. Oh, and also Laura Lane out in Mobile says that she's ready for November 4th. So, and she says bring it. So
bring it, yeah.
So any of the Antifa people are watching, bring it to Mobile. Bring it to Mobile.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think that the culture of Alabama sort of precludes most of that fucking foolishness. You notice they ain't shutting down any highways in Birmingham.
No. But we'll tie this back to the libertarian socialist concept that seems to be growing, and we're actually seeing it growing in a lot of states up north. I think Michigan actually has a secretary who's the party in, I think it was Michigan. The secretary is from the Libertarian Socialist Caucus. So somehow, libertarians thought that socialism is okay to have in leadership.
Yeah, that's essentially what happened.
Yeah.
So are we?
Yeah,
Thanks.
okay.
So we're seeing this popping up more and more, and we're seeing sympathizers pop up more and more. Do you see this being an ongoing thing unless leadership actually steps in and says, "Hey, look, no"?
I think they need to make a statement on it.
I think leadership should step into to a degree, but on the flip side, I think if we as individuals go, no, No,
Yeah.
no.
But that's the thing is like the environment is not necessarily receptive to someone saying that is against that's against libertarianism, that's against the philosophy of libertarianism, because
Again,
you've got a pack of dogs on a three-legged cat saying
it's that culture of we're a debate society circle jerk squad, and
More or
that has
less.
to get beat out.
Well,
it's philosophical.
It's not a question of is it against libertarianism. How does this measure up against the party platform?
Okay.
Rachel made a good point about that. The party represents what the majority of its members
Yeah.
represent usually, and they could technically take over and change the platform.
That's true.
Yes, they can, and
That's true.
Yeah, and that is something I do want to mention because I was going to say this earlier. As far as the platform at national convention, the delegates can change the platform. They can also change the statement of principles.
Mm-hmm.
To remove a plank requires a mere majority vote. Okay. To add or alter a plank requires a 2/3 majority vote.
Mm-hmm.
To alter the statement, 7/8 of all established delegates are required.
Wow, you've been reading up on your
Bylaws?
convention law.
If you're gonna play the game, you got to know the rules, baby.
That's crazy.
Right.
Horace, get with me after the show. I need to download some information from you. Damn. All right.
I've been reading the bylaws state and national.
You
I
have a
think
lot more
this
time
is-
on your hands than I do.
I think this is I got a point to make on this one here is that may play in Michigan, but that don't
No.
play at all in Alabama.
No.
No.
We're not drawn
But-
from the same kind of voter pool.
But theoretically, it could be a national issue. Even before it's an Alabama issue, it could be a national issue if it's not properly addressed and stamped out.
Absolutely.
And there are people that are working on, either on or trying to get to that national stage
Mm-hmm.
that are like, oh, hell no. I was talking to one last night that he's like, alt-right, lib socks, no place at the table.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
So
You want to make the environment as uncomfortable for them as possible, and consistently challenge their ideologies to the point where it's just kind of like I'm good here. I'm gonna go over here to the Democrat Socialist Party, or I'm gonna go over here to the Constitution Party, and kind of just let them naturally attrit out from the overall scene of it. But I mean, also there's an extremely small amount of libertarian Marxists, which I don't even know how they tie their shoes in the morning. That's just mind blowing. I'm like, holy shit, really? I don't see how you can even put those two together. It's like, oh, I'm an octopus banana too. All right.
I mean, okay, I can see it in one manner only. Okay, that they're unwilling to use force, but they believe in the Marxism in a covenant community setting.
In order for Marxism to work, it does require someone to enforce the central party's allocation of resources. Therefore, force has to. It's like debating anarcho-communism. That is a paradox. It is not possible.
And regardless of how you rename that entity that would be doing the redistribution, it's still a government.
It's a government,
Yeah.
and if it has an enforcement squad next to it, guess what? You could call it Sparkle Cupcakes for all I care. It's still a goddamn government.
That's why I have been hammering for a while now. Excuse me. Any system that is anti-private property cannot be anarchist, because by setting up,
But rent is theft.
yeah.
Oh my God, rent theft! Please
Oh
kill
God,
me!
let's-
Please kill me! Oh my God! A mutually consenting contract is theft.
Yeah.
Fucking kill me!
By saying that you may not own private property, okay, you have just created a set of rules and set yourself up as rulers over those who believe in private property. Because anarchy literally means no rulers.
No rules.
You have just set yourself up. You're no longer an anarchist. Period. End of discussion. Sorry. back to the drawing board. Try again. We will shoot you down then too.
Yeah, that's the truth, and that's something that we should probably have a whole show devoted to. Is anarchy doesn't mean no rules.
Yeah, right.
You're not just walking around killing people and shitting in people's yards.
If I had a dollar for every time I've had to have this conversation, like even with my dad, I'm like, Dad, you have no
goddamn skateboarders in the '90s with their stupid A on their skateboards. They caused this. It's their fault. I was a rollerblader.
Careful. Shots fired.
Yeah, fucking idiots.
I don't play any games.
Fucking Gene Cozy.
You don't like fat boys. Gravity's not my friend.
All right.
Yeah. What's next?
So,
who else can we pick on?
All right. So we've got the alt-right, the neo-Nazi white supremacist trash that keeps cluttering up the libertarian pipeline. We've also got the libsoc / Antifa sympathizer, Antifa activists also who are coming in to pretty much just shit all over the party. What else we got? I got a list here. I got a list that I've been working on for like a month and a half that I haven't been able
Throw it up, baby. Let's take some pot shots at shit where you're shooting at blind.
All right.
Auburn fans.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Fair. And South Carolina fans, I think, too.
Oh, you watch your fucking mouth over there.
Oh, shit.
Oh, shit. Get your house blown up for shit like that.
Whoa.
With the Georgia taking over the #1 slot, I am utterly rooting for the Gamecocks this week.
That's right, baby.
Don't get disappointed now.
I like your angry-ass coach. He stays mayor.
You will. You're definitely going to get disappointed, but fuck it, whatever.
All right, so the next one, Linos, libertarians in name only. I think we can think of one that we have smeared on this show.
Yeah.
I beg to differ.
Sorry,
There
guys.
has been no smearing.
Okay, what
We
smear?
have just
Jabbed.
factually shot his ass down repeatedly because of his bullshit.
Yeah, fair enough. Linos, libertarians in name only. You see this a lot, especially around election time. These are the creatures that crawl out from underneath whatever rock they live under to come in and try to siphon votes away from the Libertarian Party. Typically they're GOP. I've not seen a lot of Democrat ones, but I've lived in places where it's been very heavily GOP. I'm sure maybe out in California they have the problem, or Oregon has that problem.
What was the guy's name? Mike Gravel. He was the last one I think that was. He was like in the era of Bob Barr. There was a guy that was a Democrat that came in and was doing the same thing. I mean, but that's 20 to 1, easy.
Yeah.
Rhino Linos over Dino Rhino Linos.
Yeah, and I think one that sits on more of a national stage right now is Austin Peterson. That guy's probably one of the biggest linos that I've ever seen actually happen. I'll leave Rand Paul alone because Rand Paul technically is not. Has never come out as a libertarian. You know,
he's been open about he's a Republican from day one.
Yeah. I mean, that's
now he might be the world's greatest Republican as far as what we like, but he ain't good.
Not even
we
close.
have Rand Paul fans watching the show, so I'm not going to go too deep into the criticizing of it. But I'm not the biggest fan.
But again, the thing is at least he's open about it. He's said ahead of time.
He's honest. Yeah, I'll give him that.
Perm is dope,
You
though.
know, I was going to say, I mean, you know,
Bouncy girls.
I will quote Rand Paul here, and I quote here, "I am not a libertarian."
Yeah, exactly. That's that meme that I made a while back. It's just like, you know, right when he said it, and everyone's at least like just fans like, oh my God, he's so no, he's not. You know, he has. I mean, like Cory Booker out of New Jersey has some good points from time to time. It doesn't make him any more libertarian than, you know, anyone else. You know, yeah, he wants to federally, you know, get out of the drug war federally as far as marijuana goes and legalize it across the board. Great, but I'm not going to sit here and wave the libertarian flag and you know.
Honestly, if I wanted to look at the national stage, the one that I think strikes me as most libertarian of anybody out there would probably be Justin Amash.
Yeah.
Did he support Rumor?
I don't think so. I don't think he
He better not. I'll tweet that son of a bitch right now. I'll tweet him.
And he'll probably answer you too, because he's like Trump. He's always on that space. Let me tell you. Let me just take a look. I'm gonna type in here and do some Google.
Well, that's a good point though. The guys who are more media savvy in the new media steal seats from these old timers.
And you know, that's one of the areas that I think, you know, why Justin has, you know, It's not why he got his position, but I think why he keeps his position and wins elections is every vote he goes online, posts what he voted and why.
Yep.
Every single one of them.
There's no question about what's going on with him.
Okay. And if it does come to a legitimate toss up, he'll ask.
Yeah. That's good. That's kind of what you want your elected representative to do. All right. So just for the record, I have not seen any public endorsement of Roy Moore from Justin Amash. So he's safe for today.
Like I said, not his field of view.
Yeah. I don't understand why like Thomas Massey's going to endorse an who cares? It's not your state.
Yeah, I was going to say that's another point. What do these people think that the people in the state of Alabama should give a fuck what they think?
And also like Rand Paul endorsing him, going out of his way to endorse him. That's a huge red flag because he doesn't have to endorse anybody. He's like, I'm a Kentucky senator. I'm going to worry about people in Kentucky.
But people do give a fuck. I don't know why, but they do. I don't get it.
Bandwagon and other forms of
Linos is something that we need to watch out for.
You know who's not a lino?
Who's that?
Libertarian write-in candidate Ron Bishop.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Ron. Oh my God.
Yeah.
That's so true. Write-in Ron.
Yeah, Ron's going to be tweeting out his how he voted too. It's just going to be no's all the time. No.
Yep.
No. Defund. No. Fuck you.
Yeah, look at that. We're getting the write-in Rons on the chat.
Yep.
Yeah. And
Here's
I know
one of the things that gets to me.
Rachel, please don't hate me because I'm talking about Rand. I know that's one point, and Laura too. I know it's a point again. We've kind of gone back and forth in the past. It's just.
I love Ron. I'm a conservative. I love Ron.
There you go.
I'm a conservative. Yeah, that's a conservative libertarian, a guy who likes Ron Paul better than Rand Paul.
Mm.
He has made me cringe. Talk away is her response. Good. It's safe. Our friendship is safe for at least one more day. All right. Good deal.
Going back to the, as far as endorsements and everything, This is something that I find sadly funny and somewhat ironic. The same people who will bitch, moan, and complain about outside influence will pitch a fit if somebody like Rand doesn't endorse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's too many damn bitches in politics. That's a good thing that our state has Ron Bishop leading the way.
There's a T-shirt for you, Ron.
I think that one of the big moves on this whole Roy Moore thing is that Alabama has a culture of go fuck yourself to the rest of the country. One of the things they like about him here in this market, that they like about freaking the idiot pistol toting judge, is that, like I said, it's Alabama giving the finger to the rest of the country.
Yeah.
There's better ways to give the rest of the country.
I agree. There's better ways, but that's the feel.
I can think of like 3. Like actually giving, like everyone giving the finger to the rest of the country. Like it's like a flash mob with middle fingers.
Wanda's one. Who's the other two?
All I can think when it comes
to get Wanda on the show
to Alabama, and okay, out of the 4 of us, is anybody besides me a native?
Absolutely. I was born in Birmingham.
Okay.
I was born in Tennessee.
I was born in, by God, South Carolina.
South Carolina.
Okay, so we have 2 natives here. Okay. As a native, I can say this because I've lived here, the majority of my life. Alabama seems to generally be, and there are exceptions like the area we're in, determined to not move out of the 19th fucking century.
Ooh, I would go back to 17th maybe.
I would actually go a little bit further because I
was going to say they'd like to get back in the colonial era.
That time period right there, Horace, is kind of a no-go. It's a no-go zone for the South. Okay, just so you know. All right, so another one. It's maybe not so much of a detractor, but it's kind of like a humorous annoyance more than anything else. Is the 420 conservative?
Yeah.
Well, can I get a name then?
Amen.
Republicans.
They are, a Republican who wants to smoke pot. That's all it is, and you can usually tell because they're they're usually wearing like Sperry's and like a pastel shorts with a little button up. That's yeah. And then they like to hang out with libertarians because libertarians like weed. They want to smoke weed, but everything else is like it's all straight coming from the GOP. That's
Now,
everything else.
I agree with you that they're kind of a menace, but the other side of that is they're also our main market in this state.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean,
You know,
if we want them, if we want to get ahead, we have to court them.
Yeah.
That is the demographic. So.
and, maybe if we do court them and spend enough time talking to them, we can get them to see the logic of the principles and the platform.
Mm-hmm.
And, actually wind up with more actual libertarians.
Yeah.
I think it's a gateway drug. A good portion of them do continue on deeper. Like,
That's
they
true.
talk about that woke process.
The woke as fuck libertarian, yes.
Yeah, they start off as a Republican who smokes pot most of the time. Or they sometimes start off as a Democrat who goes out shooting with their buddies one time and goes, hey, guns are cool.
Or a Democrat who actually takes an economics class and is like, wait a second,
that's
everything
everything.
I have known is a lie.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. So, or Rachel's saying, or the people who don't vote. I think that's very fair because that can apply as being a detractor in the party itself.
Well, I'm going to just go ahead and say this. I haven't voted since I voted for Ron Paul in the 2008 election.
8.
Yeah. I didn't vote in 12. I didn't vote in 16. You've pushed me off the box, Rachel. I'm back in the game here.
Yeah.
What can you do?
There's, and I think, Horace, you haven't been much into the voting scene. I honestly haven't either. But I think a lot of it has to do, at least from my perspective, is that, at least from a Libertarian Party perspective, there hasn't been anything done to encourage me as Joe voter to actually want to get out there and vote. Because from a national level, the candidates have been kind of meh. State level, if it's even there. I think just one of the reasons that I've gotten more plugged in, especially with the actual party aspect itself, is because this is the best time. This is the best time in the history of ever for there to be immense growth and be able to actually usher in good candidates that actually represent the people.
Yep.
No time like it is now. Because honestly, if Donald Trump can be president, anybody can win office. That's just how I look at it.
You definitely have a point there.
Except Hillary. I mean, she couldn't beat Trump. So.
And that alone says how bad a candidate she was.
Yeah.
You can't beat the most reviled Republican in my memory, and I'm the oldest one of us. So.
Yeah, the most smeared and hated Republican since Abraham Lincoln.
Laura Lane in Mobile brought up a really good point. Yes, while there may not be candidates to vote for, there are measures, ordinances, local laws. Yes.
I have in fact gone in and voted on just those.
Yeah, I think I may have. I don't. I've slept.
I think there's a huge mass of the population that has no fucking clue there's other people on there other than the president.
Yeah, there is that. And I mean, if nothing else, and this is something I say a lot because I find this particular gentleman's words a great deal of wisdom in them. And that man is Robert Heinlein. And Robert Heinlein talking about elections and politics, and it's like, go to the voting booth. Even if there's nothing you want to support, there's almost something that you want to vote against.
Yeah, when in doubt, vote no.
That's a great philosophy to live by. An amazing philosophy to live by.
I'm going to go ahead and put this one out here. I have turned more than one person with Bob Heinlein books. The two good ones that really get the job done on that one. If you got a guy who's a Democrat that you want to turn into a Libertarian, give him a copy of Stranger in a Strange Land.
Mm-hmm.
If you got a right-winger that you want to turn into a Libertarian, give him a copy of The Moon is a Harsh Mistress.
Okay. Where does Have Spacesuit Will Travel fit into this? Because I think that's the only one I've read by him.
Have Spacesuit Will Travels is in the continuity of the line from Moon is a Harsh Mistress. It's actually an earlier book about the colonial period of that time.
Yes.
A lot of his books were written specifically what they call juveniles, what we would call young adult literature today, but before they actually had the category. And so they're very accessible, but they're still written at a philosophical level that's just huge.
Yeah.
What is a book?
Can I
get
it's a
you to show
file
me what
that
a
you
book
download
is?
on your iPhone from Amazon.
Like a Kindle?
It's a bunch of text.
Is it like a Kindle? Like a
Yes.
Kindle?
Is it like an Angry Bird?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Oh.
What does it do?
Who?
And
And
I've
occasionally
had
you'll
some,
find these relic ones that are made out of dead wood.
Dead wood.
I've also had some success, even though it is probably the worst book he ever wrote, with For Us to Living.
For those of you watching, you've now entered into the Uncivil Liberty Book Club. Not to be confused with Oprah's book club. We should do that. We should have a whole show just based on books. We'll get like no watchers.
Okay, not on books, but I think maybe we want to make a segment where we recommend a piece of media every week.
I'm okay with that.
David Does Dallas
put
Part
that
2.
in the list that you have to do.
But going back to the whole, the people who don't vote, if the Libertarian Party wants to reach those people, the Libertarian Party or any political party has to give them a reason to come out of their comfort zone. Bottom line. And if the leadership is not strong enough inside the party, and the people who sit at the table, the leadership table, are not passionate and are not motivated to actually get out there and trickle down the passion to the people who are looking up to them, you're spinning your wheels, and you're not going to reach those people. You have to make it a point. You have to make it the message and the activity something that people want to be a part of.
The counterpoint on this is that the few people that do haul all the water get totally beat up and drained.
They're
burned out.
And that also reflects poorly on just overall leadership. Is that one thing about a leader is that if you have leaders who are underneath you, you need to know when it's time for them to take a break.
So all our kids out there that are kicking butt but just can't do it no more, we love you. Hang with us.
Yeah.
Stick with us. There's some new blood.
Yeah,
It's coming.
there's a storm coming, and I've kind of put that out there that there's going to be. It's not just the people you see on your screen. There's people reaching out to us from all over the place who are saying, I'm sick and tired of this do nothing party in this state.
And it's not just us either. There's groups like us popping up all over the country.
All over the place.
Oh yeah,
all over the place. So anyway. So we have the alt-right, we have the alt-left, we have the linos, and the 420 conservatives. That's all we have time for, but I've got a whole list that I'm still trying to put together. You guys have anything to add?
It's a good list.
It's funny.
I've read it.
I laughed. I amused myself, when it's 10:30, 12 o'clock at night, somewhere in there.
We'll address some sons of bitches next week.
Maybe. I don't know, because we're going to have Ron Bishop next week. Write in,
yeah.
Ron.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, I got Ron. Buddy, Ron.
We don't normally plug candidates, but,
Why not?
We're doing it on this show.
If we're actually going to actively be a part of the LP and push its agenda, then we're duty bound.
Let's just go with platform, because agenda makes it sound like it's
okay. It's platform.
Yeah.
Okay. Fuck agendas.
Then pushing the candidate, especially if he's a good candidate, as Ron Bishop appears to be, then it's what we need to be doing. So,
yeah,
Roger.
All right. Anything else to add to this, and we'll kind of give people back the rest of their.
Fuck the alts, man. Fuck them.
The alts, man.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, there's
the two bookends on either end. The Nazis and the commies. They are cancer. They'll kill us. They gotta go.
They gotta go. And
read your goddamn history books.
Yeah.
Jesus.
It's like we're reliving
in both of them,
Germany, 1938, all over again. It's like, oh my God.
Well, here's the thing. One of the things the thing I got booted for, I think, was the fact that I called him out directly. And this gets back to my deal about the debate club issue, is that most of the time, yes, people having open forum debate is a good thing.
Mhm.
But you can literally find books from both of those groups where that mechanic is used as part of the Hegelian dialectic to break down and make us more effective. It is literally a ploy on their part.
Mm-hmm.
Literally a conscious effort to make us ineffective by gumming up the works.
Mm-hmm.
We got to purge that. Got to.
Yeah.
And we have the tools to do it.
If we just had the people to put the tools into motion.
So
Well,
we can't take them at honest face value because they're not being honest.
Right.
You know, the tools are there. Whether we have anybody with a backbone to use them, that's another question altogether.
Right.
We got
Agreed.
the beards to do it.
Yes, the beards, the wicked beards, the wicked beards, the wicked beards.
Yep.
Libertarians. No, too much.
That's too much. That's too much. Take it back. Bring it back. Bring it back.
I ruined the whole show.
That's it. I'm out. I'm done. No. All right. Anything else, guys? Want to close this out?
Oh man, fuck the alts.
I think we did a good job tonight.
I think so.
I don't
You have
think
a dick of the
so.
way?
It's garbage.
Check out our website uncivilliberty.com. There's not much on it right now, but we're hoping to change that. Please
Oh,
like
working
and
on
share.
it, tweeters.
Please like and share our page. I hate asking for this, but share our page out with people you think is going to enjoy it, or at least be mildly amused, or at least not too offended, or if they are, great, whatever.
And check out the Fully Informed Jury Association.
Yes, check
Yeah,
out the
man.
Informed Jury Association, another Facebook group floating out there. We created was Operation
Nullify.
Nullify. There's not much in there either. We're getting there. We're starting to piece by piece put together some actual physical activities instead of Facebook masturbation.
Follow us on the tweeters, man.
Yeah, tweet. If you're on Twitter, go there.
Change your minds 140 characters at a time.
There you go. I like that. Where'd you get that from?
I heard it. Just being honest.
Damn.
Made it up.
All
Not
right.
going to be true much longer, though.
What about Pinterest? We should do a Pinterest page.
Ooh, let's do a Tumblr.
Oh, like we're 13?
no, like we're porn stars.
Yeah, I was thinking to say. We'll do that
I
for the
don't-
calendar.
Yeah.
I don't really see much use for Pinterest or Tumblr for us.
All right.
Oh, I see it.
Fine.
I use Tumblr at least once a day.
At least.
I'm curious, who here is also watching the show online right now? I know I have it up on my laptop next to me. Is
I
anybody
had
else?
it up. I don't have it up now.
All right, because we have 5 viewers. I was just curious who it was. I wonder if it was all of us and like one other random person.
Nope.
Okay, cool. All right, if that's the end of the show, guys, have a good night. Thank you for those who are watching. Thank you for
Yes.
Ron Bishop for gracing us with his presence. He's
Yes.
not on here anymore, so if somebody would please pass that along to him. And we look forward to talking to him personally next week.
Yep.
Go ahead. Anybody out there, go ahead and start building out your questions for it. And we'll
And
try to read
let
them.
him know he's going to want to take an adult beverage and maybe grease up because we're going to have that.
Yeah, he might want to go ahead
He
and
did say bring it on. So
might want to get a pack of Parliament Lights and just get ready to get nailed. All right, so we're gonna close this out. You guys have a good night.
rock and roll
Adios.
later.